Chapter 91, Promotional Match, Zhuqing injured. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Xue Qinghe wasn't stupid. Of course, it's because she's not Xue Qinghe. She's Qian Renxue. The spirit hall's young master Qian Renxue. Shi Yang wanted to scream it out, but he was completely paralyzed. Luckily he couldn't speak. Otherwise, they both would have disappeared without a trace. The spy that Chu Zhao had planted at Shrek Academy overheard everything and immediately relayed the information. It quickly landed in Chu Zhao's hands. Even if it's true, someone has to believe it. Otherwise, it's just hot air. After careful consideration, Chu Zhao compiled Shi Yang's statement and background information, then sent it all directly to Qian Renxue. Whether Shi Yang lived or died was entirely up to her. Soon, Qian Renxue's decision came back to Chu Zhao. He's not the only one who's suspicious. Even if he's onto something, so what? He might even draw out others with the same doubts. Let him run for now and see what he does. She was using Shi Yang as bait to flush out anyone, like Prince Xuexing, who might be plotting against her. That way, she could deal with them all at once, instead of constantly swatting flies. Chu Zhao respected Qian Renxue's decision. His people were keeping tabs on Shi Yang anyway. Every word and action would be documented and reported. If Shi Yang stepped out of line, he'd disappear. A month later, at the royal hunting grounds outside Tiando City, this was the site for the Tiando Division's promotion matches. 15 teams were competing in a bracket, with one team getting a bye. Meanwhile, Chu Zhao was paying the price for his failure to cure Tang Hao. The longevity technique's effects were halved. Healing was slower and less effective. The auxiliary functions, like hiding soul rings, changing their colors, and concealing soul power, were gone. Now, Chu Zhao had to reveal his true strength. In the first round, Cloud Academy faced off against Botanical Academy. As the name implied, all the soul masters from Botanical Academy had plant-based spirits. Since the longevity skill was weakened, and he couldn't hide his soul rings or soul power, Chu Zhao decided to hold back and take the 7th slot. The first 6 could do their thing. In the match against Botanical College, Chu Zhao didn't even get a chance to step up. Wu Yun, the third to go, had already eliminated the Botanical College's 7th member. The same thing happened in later matches against Tianshui, Lei Ting, Exotic Beast Academy, and Baroque Academy. Chu Zhao stayed on the sidelines, until they faced Shrek Academy. Everyone on Cloud Academy wanted to go first. But when it was Shrek Academy's turn, Zhuqing and company stepped forward. Shrek sent out Dai Mubai first. As the two faced off, the atmosphere on the field became tense. Even the spectators felt the awkwardness. Zhuqing, I didn't expect you to become a soul sect master. But are you as strong as me? Dai Mubai flashed a charming smile at Zhuqing. Dai Mubai, Shrek Academy Captain, Level 43, Strong Attack Department Fighting Spirit Sect. Zhuqing, Cloud Academy, Level 41, Agility Attack System, Battle Soul Sect. Even though her soul power was lower, Zhuqing stated her level calmly. She knew she was good. No need to downplay it. 14-year-old soul masters were rare. When Dai Mubai was 14, he was only a soul master. It's been 2 months since the tournament started, right? How are you still only level 41? Is it because the resources are not good enough? If you had stayed at Shrek Academy, just imagine. Zhuqing cut him off with an attack. Dai Mubai barely dodged Zhuqing's sudden netherworld 100 claws. A little startled and embarrassed, he sneered. When did you learn to sneak attack? The match started. It's not a sneak attack. Zhuqing stated the facts. Then she attacked again. The referee had already signaled the start of the match, but Dai Mubai was so caught up in his monologue that he didn't hear it. Zhuqing, who had tuned him out long ago, attacked as soon as she heard the referee's signal, stopping him short. Despite the 2-level difference in soul power, the fight was evenly matched. Zhuqing's speed was incredible, even faster than the average agility-type soul master. Dai Mubai struggled to keep up. The match went on for a long time. Neither of them wanted to lose or back down. When soul power and combat experience are equal, the only thing that makes a difference is endurance, and in that, Zhuqing had the edge. With more soul power left, she eventually defeated an exhausted Dai Mubai. Given their history, Zhuqing didn't hold back, and Dai Mubai was seriously injured. "How dare you hurt Boss Dai? I'll avenge him." Shrek Academy's next contestant was Ma Hongjun. Dai Mubai's injury had enraged the evil Fire Phoenix. He came out guns blazing, launching Phoenix Fire Line at Zhuqing. He threw everything he had at her, determined to avenge his buddy. "I forfeit." Zhuqing didn't have much soul power left. Remembering Chu Zhao's advice, she never put herself in danger and immediately conceded, but Ma Hongjun drowned out her voice with his attack. He launched a full-strength attack directly at Zhuqing. The referee couldn't stop him in time, and Zhuqing was injured. Facing a defenseless Zhuqing, Ma Hongjun kept attacking until the referee intervened. "She's defenseless. She forfeited. Please send out the second student from Cloud Academy." The referee had Zhuqing carried off to stop Ma Hongjun. Jin Qianqian, who was supposed to go second, looked back at Chu Zhao, hesitating. She knew that in this situation, Chu Zhao wanted to play even more. "I'm actually a little angry. She clearly forfeited." After watching Shu Han and the Healing Soul Master treat Zhuqing, Chu Zhao stood up and walked onto the competition stage. Chapter 92 The Red Soul Ring shocks the audience. You are listening at novelfull.audio. No one expected Chu Zhao, who hadn't made a move before, to step up as the second challenger. Her words made it clear she was defending her teammate, Zhuqing, showing she was fiercely protective. Killing someone in a competition wasn't acceptable. As Chu Zhao walked onto the stage, she considered how to eliminate Ma Hongjun discreetly. "Against you, I won't even need my soul skills." Her face was like ice, and the arm holding the Grim Reaper's scythe trembled slightly. Focusing her soul power, she sent the scythe flying towards Ma Hongjun's chest. Part of her anger stemmed from Ma Hongjun's attack on Zhuqing, which had also targeted her chest. A man deliberately attacking a girl like that, because Chu Zhao only used her martial soul, not her actual soul skills. Many people, including Ma Hongjun, underestimated the attack. Only Chu Zhao knew how truly terrifying the Death Scythe's attack was. "Fatty! Ma Hongjun! What the?" Exclamations erupted from the Shrek Academy members and the audience. The Grim Reaper's scythe struck Ma Hongjun with incredible force, instantly launching him out of the ring and back towards Shrek Academy. A deep, bloody wound was visible on his chest, reaching the bone. "Why so harsh? This is a friendly match." "Enough." Several people from Shrek Academy anxiously tended to the unconscious Ma Hongjun. Dai Mubai and Oscar both confronted Chu Zhao. They believed she'd done it on purpose. "The rules don't end on a simple point. He's not dead, and I didn't break any rules." Chu Zhao said coldly. "Who's next?" She wondered how long Ma Hongjun could survive the death sentence delivered by her Grim Reaper's scythe. The last person injured by the Death Scythe, a student from Tsanhui Academy, didn't last until the preliminaries were over. They'd all met their maker. The last person who was hurt by the Death Scythe and didn't receive treatment was Tang Hao. Maybe his constitution was strong, or maybe he just had good luck, but he was still kicking. However, as long as the deathly aura lingered, Tang Hao's old wounds would never heal. "I'll go." Tai Long, known for his temper, wanted to jump in, but Tang San stopped him. "You're no match for her." He almost added, "I'll handle it." But he couldn't bring himself to say it. With no other Soul Sec level teammates volunteering, Tang San reluctantly stepped forward to face Chu Zhao, urged on by the referee. "I never thought we'd be opponents." Tang San's expression was a mix of bitterness and determination, and he showed no mercy when he attacked. Blue silver grass silently spread across the stage, wrapping around Chu Zhao, but the next instant, green leaves sliced and melted it away. Tang San felt an immense pressure crushing him. He used every skill he had, but couldn't relieve the weight. Finally, to the gasps of the crowd, he looked at Chu Zhao and gave up resisting. 5 soul rings encircled Chu Zhao, 5 rings that shouldn't be possible. Black, 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 red. A 5-ring soul king. 100,000-year soul ring. The first soul ring is a 10,000-year black ring. How? That's impossible. No human can do that. Impossible. No one wanted to believe what they were seeing and desperately insisted it couldn't be true, but they had to acknowledge it. The older the soul ring, the greater the pressure it exuded. Chu Zhao's fifth soul ring radiated the unmistakable aura of a 100,000-year ring, and the aura of her first four rings suggested they weren't just ordinary 10,000-year rings either. She must be using some special skill to mimic the ring and its color. It's absolutely impossible for such a young soul king to have a 100,000-year soul ring. Yu Xiaogang, who had dedicated his life to studying martial souls, prided himself on his ability to see through deception, and quickly devised an explanation. His voice was louder than usual, ensuring everyone in the stadium could hear him. It has to be a special skill. Don't be fooled, Xiao San. Overcome your fear, treat her like an ordinary soul master, and attack with everything you've got. That his words convinced many who were reluctant to accept Chu Zhao's 5 rings, 4 black and 1 red, that it was a trick. They thought that if they could just ignore the rings and conquer their fear, they could defeat Chu Zhao, but was that really true? Tang San was the one facing Chu Zhao, not them. Only Tang San knew the incredible pressure he was under. He couldn't move a muscle, as if a mountain were pressing down on him. He struggled to breathe, let alone fight back, and this seemed to be only Chu Zhao's second soul skill. Unable to move, Tang San tried to launch a mental attack with his purple demon eye, but the moment the purple gold light touched Chu Zhao, he realized her vision was far superior to his purple demon eye was useless. Instead, Chu Zhao's mental power countered his attack, causing him significant damage and making him cry out in pain. Xiao San. What's wrong, Xiao San? Many voiced their concern, but no one encouraged Tang San to forfeit. Tang San couldn't accept defeat either, and wanted to fight to the end. Seeing this, Chu Zhao increased her soul power, making the weight of her second soul skill even more apparent. The platform under Tang San's feet began to crack, and beads of sweat covered his face. Xiao San. What did you do to him? Finally, everyone realized something was wrong. Tang San had already been defeated by Chu Zhao, but refused to give up. But for those who cared about him, Tang San's well-being was more important than victory. They immediately urged him to concede. The fourth member of Shrek Academy to enter the ring was another familiar face for Chu Zhao. Shi Yang, Shrek Academy team member, level 43 strong attack fighting spirit sect. As Shi Yang spoke, he looked Chu Zhao up and down with disdain, as if it would give him an advantage. Chapter 93, Suspected of falsifying age to participate in the competition. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Honestly, he was just hiding his fear. Facing Chu Zhao, this total unknown who was clearly special, like she had a cheat code. Shi Yang was scared. He didn't want to show it, though, and knowing he sucked at hiding stuff, he cranked up the arrogance instead. Simulation skills, huh? Pretty realistic sim. Too bad fake is still fake. It'll never be real. Shi Yang shot his soul skills at Chu Zhao the second the match started, trying to grab the lead, but against that massive difference in soul power, it was pointless. Fourth soul skill, Sorrow of Life. Chu Zhao sighed, and the fourth black soul ring under her feet lit up. Frosty red leaves popped out fast, each one like an autumn frost leaf, touched with morning frost. Then, in a flash, those frost leaves became tiny green and red daggers, sharp and cold. The frost leaf sword formation closed in on Shi Yang, and in a heartbeat, he was covered in cuts. He tried to fight back, but it was like an ant taking on a tree. He couldn't break free from the sword formation, much less hurt Chu Zhao. Give up. We give up, Flanders yelled, afraid Shi Yang would die in the sword formation if he waited another second. Chu Zhao's spirit ring and spirit power aren't fake. The strength she's showing is real. Our kids are no match for her. He didn't care about keeping secrets anymore. He didn't want any of the Shrek's 7 devils getting hurt. These kids came to his school, and he had to get them graduated and home safe. Boss Fu, what are you talking about? How can her strength be real? She's a soul king. Lu Erlong, who was already rushing onto the stage to stop the fight, froze. She thought she must have misheard him. But Flanders' frantic face told her she hadn't. This is impossible. Is Chu Zhao's age fake? If she's really only 14, she's only been training for 8 years at most. How could she break through level 40? That's 5 levels a year, on average. No way. Yu Xiaogang kept shaking his head, muttering that it was impossible. He didn't say it loud, but plenty of people heard him clear enough. Dear referee, Your Majesty, esteemed guests, I suspect Chu Zhao from Yunduan Academy lied about her age to enter this competition. There's no way she's only 14. I demand a bone age test, right now. Lu Erlong, who'd stopped the match with the ref, stood on the stage and addressed the VIP seats. Her voice was hot with anger. Yeah, we think she's faking it too. How can a 14-year-old be a Soul King? It's gotta be fake. We want a retest, on the spot. Retest. Retest. That once Lu Erlong spoke up, a lot of people jumped on the bandwagon. Deep down, they just didn't want to believe they could lose that badly in terms of soul power. Of course, some people were just disgusted by the idea of cheating in such a sacred competition. Too many people doubted Chu Zhao, but Emperor Shui trusted her. He'd looked into Chu Zhao's background. It checked out. She awakened her martial soul at 6, went to Notting College, dropped out at 8 to join the Moonlight Chamber of Commerce, entered Cloud College at 9, and joined the Continental Advanced Soul Master Elite competition at 14. The only thing that didn't line up was before she was 3. And everyone knew she'd gone to Shrek Academy when she was 12, but if he didn't handle this right, the doubts would just keep growing. So Emperor Shui looked to Chu Zhao, waiting to see what she'd do. Fine, test me. I'm not faking my age. Chu Zhao said flatly that she shouldn't have to prove herself. Instead, she should ask those who questioned her to produce evidence. However, judging from the looks of these people, they probably wouldn't agree with her. I'll do it. Lu Erlong stepped in front of Chu Zhao, ready to grab her hand. In Douluo Continent, measuring someone's bone age is pretty easy. You just hold their arm or leg bone and feel how old they are, down to the exact day. Chu Zhao didn't trust Lu Erlong, so she instinctively pulled back, which just gave Lu Erlong another excuse. Why are you dodging? Is your age really fake? Are you scared we'll touch your bones? Come on, you just rushed at me. Anyone would pull back, okay? Who knows if you're feeling my bones or gonna punch me? Chu Zhao rolled her eyes, speechless. Let's get someone else. I'm afraid you'll suddenly attack me if you're like this. No way, what if they're on your payroll? Lu Erlong shot down Chu Zhao's idea, and Chu Zhao was speechless by Lu Erlong. You Cloud Academy folks are all staring at me like hawks. If I actually tried to attack you, I'd be ripped to shreds in a second. Too bad she had such a short life. She couldn't bear to die before she could achieve the great harmony of life with Yu Xiaogang. Chu Zhao immediately refuted that they also had a title Douluo, the same one as Tang Hao. In the end, Lu Erlong had to touch the bones because she was one of the few strong women on the field. The moment she touched Chu Zhao's wrist, Lu Erlong went quiet. She really wanted to lie and say Chu Zhao wasn't 14, but that lie would be too easy to call out. Anyone could come up and touch her bones again and get the right answer. Sometimes silence says it all, but someone just had to ask. Why isn't Dean Lu saying anything? Is there something wrong with Chu's age? Qian Renxue, disguised as Xue Qinghe, smiled sweetly, but there was something cold about it. Her age is right. She's old enough to compete. Even after touching the bones herself, Lu Erlong still didn't want to believe Chu Zhao was 14. So she went with a vague answer, since the age limit for the competition was under 25. 14 is 14. I can't just say I won't come. Seriously, I think I know my own age better than you guys do. Chu Zhao added, directly calling out everyone who doubted her soul power and age, slapping them right in the face. Let's face it, her age and soul power are a total package of buffs, and that weird innate level 21 when she awakened her soul power. Plus, she's basically a scroll-reading god, practicing over 20 hours a day on average. She puts in 2, 3, even 10 times more work than most people. Chapter 94 You are not a soul king, you are a soul emperor. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Not to mention the system rewards she kept racking up. Today, a level up in soul power. Tomorrow, all my soul rings age up 1,000 years. The day after, a top-tier soul bone, and then another soul ring. She did the math. Over the past 6 years, system rewards alone had boosted her soul power by more than 10 levels. Basically, she was starting at level 30 with a serious advantage. If she didn't have high soul power, who did? It's true, geniuses like you are rare, and they're always full of surprises. But a genius like you will be mine someday. Xian Renshua smiled gently, teasing Chu Zhao. Chu Zhao wasn't one to back down, so she shot back, isn't the bright and gentle crown prince mine too? Sounds like a good deal to me. The others were speechless. This was major PDA territory. They might be engaged, but did they have to rub it in everyone's faces? I've got a list of everyone who doubted me. Hope we don't meet in the next round, Chu Zhao said, turning and smiling, a clear threat in her voice. She might not have a lot of advantages, but she definitely held a grudge. The match continued. For players from Shrek Academy, Dai Mubai, Ma Hongjun, Tang San, and Shi Yang, had already been on the field, each with varying degrees of injury. Shi Yang and Ma Hongjun wouldn't be able to compete for the next couple of days. From Cloud Academy, only Zhuqing and Chu Zhao had shown up so far. No need to keep fighting. Chu Zhao's done holding back. Even if all 7 of us went at her, we wouldn't stand a chance. Flanders held back Tyrone, who was about to go on, his tone serious. Boss Fu, what's gotten into you? Why are you so quick to build up the competition and tear down our own team? Chu Zhao's powerful, sure, but she's just a soul king. She can't have much soul power left. We can wear her down with a continuous assault. Lu Erlong frowned, disagreeing. In her mind, the Shrek 7 devils, under Yu Xiaogang's guidance, were amazing. And, of course, her former students weren't bad either. Unable to persuade Lu Erlong, Flanders looked to Yu Xiaogang, expecting his usual rational approach. He thought Yu Xiaogang would see the logic in preserving their strength and face, regardless of whether they won this match. They could still participate in the finals either way. But he was destined to be disappointed. Yu Xiaogang was even more confident than Lu Erlong, speaking as if victory was assured. I agree with Erlong. Chu Zhao can't last much longer. Those 3 matches already drained a lot of her soul power. My guess is that her rapid breakthrough was due to some kind of forbidden technique. Soul power gained that way isn't stable and is actually pretty weak, maybe even less than a stronger soul master. Flanders was silent. If Yu Xiaogang wasn't his friend, he'd be tempted to give him a piece of his mind. Did he really have to act like he knew everything? But, 2 years ago, she fought a soul saint to a standstill. Her soul power didn't seem weak at all. Flanders, are you talking about me? She beat me with cheap tricks. Not you, me. Flanders knew Zhao Wuji had misunderstood and started to explain, but was interrupted again. Flanders, you're the dean of Shrek Academy. If you don't believe in their chances, how can they possibly have the courage to win? Yu Xiaogang interrupted, looking stern and clearly annoyed. He forced Tyrone into the match and laid out the tactics. Tyrone, I'm not asking you to defeat her. Just stall for as much time as possible. If you can figure out her skills, even better. It was obvious he was using Tyrone as cannon fodder, but Tyrone, not exactly a brainiac, was happy to play the part. Yu Xiaogang didn't look at Tyrone again, but quickly glanced at Xiao Wu, placing all his hopes on her. Since she'd stepped up her training, Xiao Wu's advantages as a 100,000-year soul beast had become clear, and she was now Shrek Academy's most powerful student. But how could he expect Xiao Wu to go all out against Chu Zhao? So, he's from the Power Clan, Chu Zhao said, raising an eyebrow as Tyrone, the 5th player, stepped onto the stage. I've heard you guys are all super strong, but let's see who's more powerful than my gravity. As she spoke, Chu Zhao unleashed her second soul skill. If Tang San had been there, he might have warned Tyrone to be careful. Even though it was just her second soul skill, Weight of Life was far more powerful than Zhao Wuji's gravity skill. Yu Xiaogang had hoped Tyrone's toughness and strength would let him test Chu Zhao and give him a chance to analyze her abilities, but Tyrone was immediately pinned down. A second soul skill was enough to suppress him, rendering him immobile. At that point, Yu Xiaogang began to wonder if he'd made a mistake. Should he have pushed back harder? He just couldn't admit that the Shrek 7 devils he trained weren't as good as the Cloud Academy students. The talented young people in his charge, with their high innate soul power, couldn't compare to the students with lower innate soul power from Cloud Academy. Chu Zhao didn't use gravity to torture Tyrone for long. She was bored of bullying a guy who'd been brainwashed and lost all sense of himself. She kicked him off the stage and looked back at Shrek Academy. Who would be next? Of the 7 main players and 3 reserves, 3 were off in Cambridge for auxiliary systems, leaving just 7 able to compete in this individual promotion competition. Would Huang Yuan go next, or Xiao Wu? Oh, another cannon fodder. It was Huang Yuan, but as Huang Yuan stepped onto the stage, a shocking voice echoed through the stadium. You're not a soul king, you're a soul emperor. Your soul power has passed level 60. That the word stunned everyone. If anyone else had said it, they might have dismissed it as nonsense, but the speaker was Jian Dao Chen Xian, standing beside Ning Fengji. He was a well-known title Douluo and never joked around. That made it a lot more believable, but it sounded insane. Level 60 soul power? At the age of 14? Was that even possible? Was there some secret technique to preserve a person's bone age? Otherwise, it was impossible to explain. Could Jian Dao Chen Xian be mistaken? Chapter 95 No One Dares to Play. You are listening at novelfull.audio. But a title Douluo shouldn't have misjudged Chu Zhao's soul power. As soon as Sword Douluo Chen Xian said that, every title Douluo and soul Douluo present, even those hidden, all stared at Chu Zhao on stage. This time, they could clearly see Chu Zhao's soul power, and it was exactly as Chen Xian had stated. It was hovering around level 60. No way. How is this possible? One person could be wrong, but not a whole group. There was only one explanation. Chu Zhao was at level 60, a level 60 soul master who hadn't obtained their spirit ring yet. Student Chu Zhao, is your soul power really at level 60? Some people, unable to contain their impatience, blurted out the question directly. How did you boost your soul power to level 60 in just 8 years? That's a 50-level jump. Even gaining 6 or 7 levels a year wouldn't explain that kind of growth. The difficulty of leveling up increases exponentially with each title, so even if you gained 6 or 7 levels in the first year, it wouldn't add up to that kind of increase. Even if you gained 1 or 2 levels with each spirit ring absorption, and you have 10 spirit rings total, that's still not enough. People started breaking down on the spot how Chu Zhao could have possibly advanced so quickly. Chu Zhao frowned. Last I checked, we were in the middle of a competition. Why are you asking about things that have nothing to do with the matches? Is there a soul power limit for the All-Continental Advanced Soul Master Academy Elite Tournament? My soul power level doesn't seem relevant to the competition, does it? I think we should get back to the game. Sword Douluo Chen Xian's announcement caused a massive uproar. No one cared about the matches anymore. All eyes and conversations were focused on Chu Zhao's soul power, but Chu Zhao still wanted to compete, so she took the initiative to suggest getting back to it. Her words were met with silence. Many people shot Shrek Academy a look of sympathy. Lucky it wasn't them facing Chu Zhao. The referee hesitated before announcing the start of the match. Huang Yuan, Shrek Academy's next competitor, also hesitated, unwilling to step into the arena. There was no point in even trying. As a soul master, facing a ramped-up quasi-soul emperor, he'd have to be courting death. Huang Yuan looked to Lu Erlong, the dean he knew best, for help. But Lu Erlong was too busy worrying about Yu Xiaogang to notice Huang Yuan's pleas. Stop the fight. Come back. Flanders stood up, called Huang Yuan back, and announced their surrender. There's no need to continue. Shrek Academy forfeits. Winning, losing, and glory are all important, but the lives of his students were more so. He knew they had done their best. This time, Yu Xiaogang and Lu Erlong didn't object. Their minds were elsewhere. His heart and eyes were fixed on Yu Xiaogang. A man trapped in the past was doomed to self-torment. If only he had accepted Chu Zhao as his disciple when he first saw her 8 years ago. Yu Xiaogang regretted it now more than ever. If I had taken Chu Zhao under my wing, I'd be the teacher of the youngest quasi-soul emperor. With my theoretical knowledge, I could have trained the youngest titled Douluo and surpassed Bibi Dong's record. The world would recognize me as a true grandmaster, and my name would be immortalized. Yu Xiaogang was still dwelling on it even after returning to camp, trapped in a cycle of self-recrimination. Lu Erlong, the one who claimed to love Yu Xiaogang the most, knew him well and immediately recognized the problem. She also knew how to comfort him. Don't regret it. Even if Chu Zhao's soul power is high now, her future is probably ruined. It's very likely her journey ends here. Why do you say that? Hearing Lu Erlong's voice, Yu Xiaogang finally responded. Have you thought about where she's from? She specifically said she was from Moonlight City. Have you forgotten their specialty? All those magical herbs and fruits that can instantly boost a person's soul power by several levels. She's probably eaten countless amounts over the years. That's how she's boosted her soul power so high. But that kind of soul power is just for show. It's a house of cards, ready to collapse. Chu Zhao is too young to realize she's destroyed her own foundation. She's a lost cause, but Tang San and the others are still talented, and you've studied martial souls thoroughly. If you teach them seriously, they'll definitely surpass Chu Zhao. Lu Erlong's words were nothing but wishful thinking, but it was the kind of self-deception that Yu Xiaogang needed. He needed to be told that he had nothing to regret, and Lu Erlong's voice was just the right one. In the following promotion matches, Chu Zhao's Cloud Academy didn't even need to lift a finger. Whenever a school was matched against Cloud Academy, they would simply forfeit. They weren't about to make the same mistake as Shrek Academy. Shrek Academy had been plagued by injuries to multiple team members, taking them out of play for many matches and causing them to lose. Kamikaze Academy forfeited too. Chu Zhao had thought Kamikaze Academy would be different, since their captain, Feng Xiaotian, wasn't one to give up easily. Yeah, the only colleges Kamikaze College hasn't faced yet are our Cloud College and Shrek College. This was our game, so the next game should be against Shrek College. They forfeited because they knew they would lose to us, and they wanted to be in their best shape when they faced Shrek Academy. Looks like the feud between Kamikaze Academy and Shrek Academy is pretty intense. Wu Yun shared the information she had gathered and explained the situation. It said that it's over a girl. Feng Xiaotian is in love with Huo Wu from Blazing Academy and is close to her brother, Huo Wushuang. But Huo Wu was injured by Shrek Academy, and Feng Xiaotian is taking out his anger on their behalf. And according to what we know, Huo Wu once said she would marry whoever could beat Tang San to a pulp. Chapter 96, Three Parties Move Together, Explosions Sound. You are listening at novelfull.audio. One's driven by hormones, the other by a heart full of mush. Chu Zhao shook his head. Love really sucks. Feng Xiaotian's usually sharp as a tack, but around Huo Wu, he's a completely different dude. Though, I guess he's happy being that way. Sure enough, on the final day, Kamikaze Academy and Shrek Academy went head-to-head, facing Feng Xiaotian. Tang San once again brought out the Clear Sky Hammer and used his Chaos Cloak Hammer technique to shatter Feng Xiaotian's signature move. Guess Feng Xiaotian ain't marrying Huo Wu after all. The Continental Elite Competition for Advanced Soul Masters, Tiendo Division Qualifying Tournament, wrapped up with the ring of the Clear Sky Hammer. Chu Zhao's Cloud Academy crushed it again, taking first place in the Tiendo Division with a perfect record. Shrek Academy, on the other hand, took a beating against Cloud Academy, losing several matches and sliding down to 5th. Chu, your team sticks with me. Tell everyone else in your academy to lay low, especially around the Shrek Academy team. In the prince's carriage, Qian Renshua stopped Chu Zhao, who was itching to train, and gave him a serious warning. Got it. Chu Zhao caught the gravity in her voice. Her mentioning Shrek Academy told him everything. It's the assassination from the original story, and this time, it'll probably be even bloodier, because now, Spirit Hall's sending in backup, the carriages were lined up by qualifying round rankings. Prince Tiando's carriage was at the front, 8 Treasures Glazed Tiles Sect was second, Cloud Academy third, and Shrek Academy, way back in 7th. This hit probably won't affect them directly, but they're worried about strays. Halfway there, Chu Zhao was the first to sense something was up. After all, he planned the whole thing. The Tiando Soul Division's route was set from the start. Chu Zhao picked the ambush spot and even planted the first explosive on the hill himself. An explosion rocked the road, sending boulders raining down from both hillsides. They came out of nowhere and barreled downhill fast. Heads up. Something's going down. Too late for that. Explosions kept ripping through the air, and boulders slammed down, cutting off the Shrek Academy team and trapping them in the rubble. Still, some boulders broke loose and hurtled toward their carriage, a whistle screeched, and thousands of black-clad figures swarmed down the hillsides, moving with scary speed. A few peeled off towards other academies, just a smokescreen. Everyone was gunning for Shrek Academy. This was a joint assassination cooked up by Spirit Hall, Qianrenxue, and Moonlight City, the targets. Tang Hao and Tang San. Honestly, Tang San was just caught in the crossfire. If he wasn't Tang Hao's kid, no one would waste their time on him. I want to see who dares lay a hand on my son. How dare you? Don't you dare touch my young master. A massive black hammer and a black gorilla charged into Shrek Academy's section. Tang Hao came prepped for a fight. He didn't roll solo, he brought the Power Clan's heavy hitters. Talon's dad and grandpa showed up too, hundreds of elite soul masters, all promised to protect Tang San. Tang Hao, you actually showed your face. Speak of the devil, it's Yu Guan back for another round. Last time Yu Guan was on a mission, Tang Hao left him hurting, so he was itching for revenge. He jumped at this assignment. Zhuqing, I let you slip last time, but your luck's run out. Tang Hao sneered at Yu Guan, whose soul power was a level higher, like Yu Guan was already 6 feet under. Ever since Tang Hao became a title Douluo and wiped out Angel Douluo Qian Xuanji and a bunch of Spirit Hall goons, he's gotten a big head and thinks he's hot stuff. He's gonna eat those words someday. I said, don't call me Zhuqing. Yu Guan hated that name. He thought they were sworn enemies and would likely fight to the death, so he immediately started to strike back. Where have you been hiding the past 10 years? You're harder to find than a rat. Why don't you just call yourself Rat from now on? Suits you perfectly. The meaning of the name is different but sounds just about the same. Tang Hao had a short fuse anyway, and when he heard the insult Rat, he went ballistic and swung the clear sky hammer right at Yu Guan. The title Douluo war was on. The ground game wasn't pretty, either. Shrek Academy and the Power Clan were fighting off a horde of black-clad soul masters. These soul masters had the advantage in skill and numbers. Shrek Academy didn't stand a chance. This time, there was nothing special that could make Yu Guan soften his heart. Just as a black-clad soul Douluo was about to take out Dai Mubai, a sharp sword materialized and blocked the hit. The 7-killing sword was planted in the ground in front of Dai Mubai, the hilt still trembling slightly, radiating lethal energy. 7-killing sword, Sword Dao Dust Heart. Sword Dao Chen Xian, is the 8 Treasures Glazed Tile Sect sticking its nose in. The Contra was furious. Couldn't they have waited a minute? The 3 upper sects are all blood brothers. How can I stand by while you butcher Haotian sect disciples? Plus, this is Lake Academy, and Ning's daughter is here. Good old Ning Fengji showed up with his usual smile, looking like a fox in a chicken coop. Seeing Ning Fengji and Jiandao Qinchin, the Shrek Academy crew breathed a collective sigh of relief. They thought they were safe. Who would mess with the 8 Treasures Glazed Tile sect? Think again. Another explosion rocked the valley, right in the middle of the Shrek Academy group. Chapter 97, Telepathy, Both Want to Kill Each Other. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Above the valley, archers in black clothes and pale faces rained down explosives. They'd fire an arrow and immediately duck away, replaced by another. These were simple gunpowder pouches, cheap but effective. He's just a regular guy, no spirit master. No spirit power at all. Sword Douluo, initially enraged by the insult, hesitated to draw his sword upon realizing his opponents were powerless commoners. Spirit masters aren't supposed to attack ordinary people without cause, it's a moral code they impose on themselves, and one the spirit hall enforces. Any spirit master who kills a commoner will face swift intervention. He'd assumed the attackers were masked spirit hall soul masters, but instead, they were just bandits. So what if you're ordinary? You attack us, you pay the price. Lu Erlong, already in a foul mood and with her hair a mess, yelled as she charged into the valley. Spirit hall masters were tough, but these ordinary folks. She could wipe them out with a single move, or so she thought. These powerless villagers scattered with surprising speed, vanishing almost instantly. Then, she was struck by the Panlong staff and seriously wounded. The spirit hall strictly forbids spirit masters from killing ordinary people. A man emerged openly, claiming to be from the spirit hall. He shot Lu Erlong a cold look, then turned his attention to Tang Hao. Tang Hao was holding his own against the two titled Douluo, Yu Guan and Gue Mei. She long hesitated only briefly before attacking Tang Hao on command. They saw nothing wrong with using their numbers to their advantage. If they could kill Tang Hao, avenge the spirit hall, and erase their past failures, it would all be worth it. Wait, one of them is missing. Where's the gorilla? Qian Renxue, watching Shrek Academy, noticed someone was gone. Using her mental power, she searched for him and found him approaching them. He's probably coming for me. Chu Zhao sensed the danger. The power clan's arrival felt too convenient, as if they knew about the ambush beforehand, but Shi Yang, who also knew, wouldn't have leaked that info. Unless, before the Continental Advanced Soul Master Elite Competition Finals, Tang Hao was also planning to eliminate the biggest threat. I think you're right. Qian Renxue, outside the carriage, spotted Titan near Cloud Academy amidst the chaos. Dozens of men had quietly gathered around the academy. Their muscles were far more developed than ordinary people. They couldn't hide their physiques. They were all from the Power Clan. A massive fist slammed into the Cloud Academy carriage. A full-strength attack from Titan, a Soul Douluo, should have shattered the carriage and injured everyone inside, but the Cloud Academy carriage was different. Chu Zhao had personally commissioned Lu Gao to build it, making it incredibly durable. The carriage shook but didn't break. Titan, however, had revealed himself and was now trapped in a golden light. Is my presence as a titled Douluo so insignificant? Other titled Douluo, fine, but a Soul Douluo acting so bold in front of me. As Jean Douluo appeared, the world seemed to brighten, the golden light almost blinding. The already weak-eyed Titan could barely open his eyes, only hearing Jean Douluo's merciless voice. If you're outmatched, don't blame me for being ruthless. Titan's strength was undeniable for a Contra, but he was facing a titled Douluo. Even if Jean Douluo was jokingly called the weakest of the titled Douluo, he was still far too powerful for Titan. Titan's counterattack was a joke to Jean Douluo, who subdued him in moments. You can't kill me. My master is the strongest titled Douluo on the continent. He'll avenge me. If you kill me, you'll die too. Facing death, Titan panicked and invoked Tang Hao's name. But Jean Douluo wasn't scared. The moment Titan attacked the carriage meant for Chu Zhao, he was a dead man. As for Tang Hao, Jean Douluo only regretted his own weakness and inability to kill him to avenge Chu Zhao, but he wasn't worried about retaliation. If you have time for this, you should open your eyes and find a good master in your next life. Golden light filled the sky as Jean Douluo spoke, and Titan's life faded in the brilliance. Clan leader, the Power Clan was filled with grief and rage and naturally wanted revenge. But their strength was too weak, their lives were already forfeit. Titan's death caused a stir. Many noticed it, but all they could do was shout in grief and anger. Tang Hao didn't react. Old injuries, worsened by recent fights, meant his strength wasn't at its peak. Dealing with the three titled Douluo was already difficult, especially Guimei and Yueguan, levels 95 and 96 respectively, who could also perform a soul fusion. Even Tang Hao had to take a titled Douluo level martial soul fusion seriously. Rongrong, Uncle Ning. Seeing his father struggling, Tang San immediately looked to Ning Rongrong and Ning Fengji for help. Dad. Ning Rongrong knew what Tang San wanted and looked at Ning Fengji for help. The ever-agreeable Ning Fengji hesitated to intervene, knowing it would offend the Spirit Hall. But Tang San's value, the hidden weapon business, and his daughter's feelings for Tang San, Ning Fengji sided with Tang Hao and called out, "Sword Douluo. Uncle Jian." Chen Xian understood instantly. The 7 killing swords flew towards Yu Guan, joining the fight and helping Tang Hao against the 3 tidal Douluo. Ning Fengji used his glazed pagoda spirit to enhance their allies, turning the tide in Tang Hao's favor. Chapter 98. Two people break up. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Because of the 8 treasures glazed tile sex intervention, the Spirit Hall Alliance was at a disadvantage. Chu Zhao had summoned her Death Scythe spirit and was ready to use her 4th spirit skill, Arrow of the Undead, but she hesitated. Then, after a reminder from her farming and health-preserving system, she immediately aimed at Tang Hao and fired. The system's mechanical voice always rubbed her the wrong way, making her angry, the system had said. According to data analysis, attacking Tang Hao is not recommended. He's got plot armor. Your arrow won't kill him. Instead, it will alienate Tang San, the chosen one, hindering your budding friendship. To better win over Tang San, work with Prince Tiendo to stop this mess. He'll definitely appreciate it. Hearing this, Chu Zhao, who was already on the fence, was immediately spurred into action. She released the arrow. The blood-red arrow shot straight for Tang Hao's heart. She, Chu Zhao, was rebellious by nature. Tell her not to do something, and she'd do it just to spite you. The arrow of the undead trailed death energy, invisible to most, enough to consume anything in its path. Tang Hao was already exhausted, and old injuries were causing him immense pain. He was at his weakest. Chu Zhao's sneak attack made it questionable whether Tang Hao could even dodge it. If it hit, Chu Zhao's full-strength attack might just set a new record for killing a tidal Douluo. The Grim Reaper's scythe was no joke, but as the arrow neared Tang Hao's chest, a hand as white as jade caught it, stopping the invitation to death. "Why, you?" That the person who caught the arrow looked at Chu Zhao in disbelief. It was Tang San, using his black jade hand to take the fatal blow. He wasn't faring well. His supposedly indestructible black jade hand, immune to all poisons, was breached by the force of the Soul Emperor's attack. His blood was a crimson mess. Ignoring the pain, Tang San stared at Chu Zhao, his eyes already bloodshot. They were both in the air, one supported by the 8 spider lances, the other still in her shooting stance. "Tell me why you attacked my father." Tang San knew better than anyone how powerful that arrow was. He couldn't imagine what would have happened if it had hit Tang Hao. "No reason. He's tried to kill me before. I'm just defending myself." Chu Zhao was surprised Tang San had intercepted the arrow, but she quickly recovered. She didn't feel she'd done anything wrong. Tang Hao had come after her multiple times. Why shouldn't she fight back? They'd been friends, but that didn't mean she had to forgive Tang Hao's actions. Their friendship probably ended the moment Tang Hao first attacked her. "But we're friends, right? And you're okay now?" "I'm already trying to reason with my father. Can't you just cut him some slack for my sake?" Tang San defending Tang Hao solidified Chu Zhao's resolve. "I'm okay now. I'm alive because I'm lucky, I'm strong, and I have people who protect me. Not because your father suddenly developed a conscience, or because your reasoning worked." Chu Zhao was shocked by Tang San's words. This wasn't the Tang San she knew. Or maybe this was the real Tang San all along. Turns out, Tang San was a family-first kind of guy. "You want me to be patient? You're kidding, right? You want me to wait for your father to kill me? Then what?" Chu Zhao was done talking. She didn't even have the strength to fire another arrow. The one Tang San blocked had drained her, severing their already fragile friendship. Once, Chu Zhao had hoped to ally with Tang San. Things changed. "Zhao Zhao, this is the last time I'll call you that. I won't attack you today. This is the end of it. But I don't want to see you point your weapon at my family again." Tang San had chosen Tang Hao, and his decision cost him more than just a friend. On the ground, Xiao Wu, her hair disheveled, looked up at Tang San, disappointment in her eyes. "Xiao San, Zhao Zhao didn't do anything wrong. Why are you blaming her?" Xiao Wu didn't differentiate between family and strangers. She only knew that Chu Zhao was retaliating, which made it right. Even if Chu Zhao had killed Tang Hao, it would have been justified. Tang Hao had started it. Xiao Wu, he's my father. Tang San replied, sounding confused. He couldn't seem to grasp why he shouldn't side with his father. Parents gave them life and raised them. They were the most important thing in the world. Everyone and everything else, including themselves, came second. Xiao Wu shook her head, her pink rabbit eyes full of confusion. She wasn't Tang San, so she couldn't understand his perspective. She was Xiao Wu, and she thought Chu Zhao was right. She felt sorry for her, seeing the disappointment in the eyes of his two oldest friends. Tang San looked pained and bewildered. Suddenly, a hammer came crashing towards Chu Zhao. Tang San, living up to his reputation as a master of the Tang sex ghost shadow mirage, moved faster than almost anyone else. He used his clear sky hammer and spirit bone 8 spider lances to block another clear sky hammer. Tang San. No one expected Tang San to suddenly intervene, and Tang Hao couldn't stop his attack in time. He could only watch as his huge clear sky hammer collided with his son's, then vanished, leaving the 8 spider lances to take the blow. 2 of the lances shattered instantly, and Tang San cried out in pain. Just as the clear sky hammer was about to crush the remaining lances, a mass of jade leaves materialized, surrounding Tang San. Chapter 99 Please heal Tang 3 #039, S injuries. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Conserving his last reserves of strength, even a tiger protects its young, so when Tang Hao realized it was Tang San, he stopped immediately, though his gaze was filled with disappointment. Having missed his chance, attacking Chu Zhao would be difficult now. Prince Jiando and 2 titled Douluo from Yinduan Academy stood guard beside Chu Zhao, protecting her. That external soul bone is practically part of him. Imagine the pain if it's damaged. Ning Fengji, deeply impressed by Tang San's talent, immediately used his 8 treasures glazed pagoda spirit to restore Tang San to his best possible condition, but some injuries were beyond immediate repair. Chu Zhao stepped forward, stopping a short distance from Tang San, her expression complicated. You really didn't need to save me. I might not be the strongest, but I'm not exactly an easy target. What she said was true, but to everyone else, it sounded arrogant. No matter how gifted she was, she couldn't have deflected an attack from a titled Douluo. If Tang San hadn't intervened, and Tang Hao hadn't held back, she would likely be dead. Her words now seemed callous. Chu Zhao knew they didn't believe her, but she didn't elaborate. How could she explain she had 2 systems, and one was occasionally pulling strings for her benefit? Remember, my soul power has exceptional healing properties. Come to me in the next few days, and I'll help you recover. As she spoke, Chu Zhao released her soul power, channeling it into Tang San's body from several feet away, employing her immortality skills to aid his healing. She did this because she had a new task. Besides, Tang San's injuries were ultimately a result of her situation, so, when Chu Zhao received the farming and healthcare system's new mission, she decided to accept it. Emergency mission: Tang San, a child of destiny, is seriously injured. Use the longevity skill to heal his wounds immediately. Time limit: 3 days. Mission completion reward: a miracle pill capable of reviving the dead. Mission failure penalty: life seed spirit strength reduced by 50% for 1 month. The penalty period for refusing Tang Hao's mission was over, so Chu Zhao's Changxing Gong had returned to full strength. She could completely heal Tang San in just 5 minutes, even with his severe injuries. However, such rapid healing would seem impossible, so she planned to administer the treatment in 3 sessions, acting as if she was using all her power each time. Better to let him be. He'll die here anyway. Yu Guan's effeminate voice rang out as the chrysanthemum blade aimed for Tang San. Tang Hao had been ambushed by 3 opponents, focused on attacking Chu Zhao. He'd initially intended to rescue his target but was interrupted by Tang San. Forcibly halting his attack caused a backlash, and Tang Hao was also enraged by Tang San, which distracted him. Yu Guan and the others exploited these openings, pressing their attack. Having revealed a weakness, Tang Hao was no longer invincible. He managed to escape alone, but not before entrusting something to Ning Fengji. Master Ning, please protect my son, Tang San. I will repay you handsomely in the future. Ning Fengji was inclined to protect Tang San, but the spirit hall seemed determined to capture him. Interfering could mean making enemies of the spirit hall. Furthermore, Chu Zhao, another promising talent he was interested in, seemed to have fallen out with Tang San and was at odds with Tang Hao. Was protecting Tang San worth the potential cost? A shrewd businessman always weighed the pros and cons before making decisions, choosing the most profitable option. Ning Fengji hesitated, but one person acted without a second thought. Dad, Grandpa Jian, please save Tang San. That it was Ning Rongrong. As Yu Guan's chrysanthemum blade flew toward Tang San, she rushed in front of him, faster than anyone else. Afraid that Jian Dao Chen Xian wouldn't act, Ning Rongrong threatened him, using her own life as leverage. If Tang San dies, I don't want to live either. Her words shocked everyone. Jian Dao Chen Xian was both shocked and angered but had to quickly rescue Tang San from Yu Guan's grasp. Chen Xian, you're making the spirit hall your enemy. Yu Guan, thwarted, was furious and wanted to fight Jian Dao Chen Xian. Previously, they were both at level 95, and Yu Guan was not as strong as Chen Xian. But now, he has entered level 96, and it has been a while. His strength has stabilized a lot, and he may be a match for Chen Xian. Besides, there were others present. Zhuqing, Tang San is a member of the upper 3 sections. You can't just touch him like that. Besides, why involve the younger generation in the disputes of our elders? Tang San is innocent. He's just a kid, no threat to anyone. Doing this makes the spirit hall look petty. If the world knew that several title Douluo from the spirit hall were hunting down an innocent 14-year-old, it would only tarnish the spirit hall's reputation. Ning Fengji, a skilled orator, made a convincing argument. Yu Guan nearly let Ning Fengji sway him. It seemed killing Tang San could backfire, with the losses outweighing any gains. No, you're trying to trick me. If you don't nip it in the bud, it'll cause trouble later. I know this. Don't try to fool me. Yu Guan, in charge of the operation, issued a command, and the others prepared to attack Tang San and the 8 treasures glazed tile sect. Chu Zhao regretted not healing Tang San completely in one go to claim the miracle pill. She was considering how to temporarily save Tang San's life, at least until she received the pill, when something unexpected happened. A unique whistling sound echoed around them, the distinct communication signal of the spirit hall, which only its members understood. Her people were still deciphering it but could roughly make out some of the message. It seemed to be an order to retreat. Hearing the whistle, Yu Guan's cruel expression turned sour. You got lucky. I think you know what to say and what not to say. With that, Yu Guan reluctantly led his people away. Xian Renxue also looked displeased. Many were injured in the attack, but few died. They soon realized the dead were elite members of the Li clan who had followed Tang Hao. Having lost its leader and many skilled soldiers, the Li clan was now in sharp decline. Among the injured, the worst were those from Shrek Academy, with Xiao Wu and Ning Rongrong suffering relatively minor injuries. Chapter 101 Yu Xiaogang, that bastard. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Wuhuan City is Spirit Hall territory, a place reserved for soul masters. Nearly all of them residing there take orders from Spirit Hall and Bibi Dong. Bibi Dong has great faith in the golden generation she's trained, especially Hulaina, whom she practically mentored by hand and on whom she places immense hope. Even as she planned to use her golden generation, she didn't anticipate that someone else was scheming to take them down in the finals. I was worried you'd have a tough time dealing with the golden generation, but you surprised me. They've been cocky ever since they hit level 50. I bet they won't be so high and mighty when they face you in the arena, Xian Renxue said in Chu Zhao's room at Cloud Academy. She simply disliked the golden generation and Hulaina, who seemed a bit like her understudy. Despite both being from the Spirit Hall, she found them repulsive. They're easy enough to handle, but I had to reveal my true strength to do it. Spirit Hall is on guard now, and I'm afraid they won't let us meet under normal circumstances, Chu Zhao guessed. The competition was organized by Spirit Hall, making it easy for them to rig the lottery. Qian Renxue reassured him, if they can play dirty, so can I. I've been away from Spirit Hall for over a decade, but I still have people inside. Children from noble families often have staff arranged for them from birth. Xian Renxue, being the apple of everyone's eye, had many people at her command. When she left Spirit Hall at 9, she already understood some things and had some control over her subordinates. Even after more than 10 years, she could still influence them. So don't worry, you'll face them no matter what. Though it's likely 3 teams will compete for the championship, they'll arrange for you to face another team first, and then the Spirit Hall team. But I can make sure their Spirit Hall team is the one who has to challenge both sides. While Qian Renxue was making arrangements, the atmosphere in Shrek Academy's rest area was grim. The tension was so thick you could cut it with a knife. Thanks to Chu Zhao's healing abilities and Tang San's own Xian Tiangong, Tang San, despite being the most severely injured, recovered first. Others, like Lu Erlong, Dai Mubai, and Ma Hongjun, were still recovering. The situation was already bad enough, and to top it off, Yu Xiaogang, who'd been guiding them, suddenly disappeared. This made Lu Erlong's temper incredibly volatile. The slightest noise would set her off, leading to curses or even fights. What's with all the arguing? Just shut it. Master, master, master. Are you all still babies who can't function without Yu Xiaogang? That because of his sudden disappearance, Lu Erlong, in a foul mood, lashed out at the Shrek teachers and students who were discussing their strategy for tomorrow's match. The kids are just a little thrown off. After all, Xiaogang has personally coached them and planned their tactics for every game, big or small, for the past 2 years, Flanders said, knowing Lu Erlong was upset and softening his tone out of love. Had any other teacher from Shrek Academy said that, he wouldn't have been so gentle. Couldn't you see how scared the students looked? But Flanders' kind words only fueled Lu Erlong's anger. Her temper had been unusually bad lately, even worse than before. Can Yu Xiaogang coach them their whole lives? Are they really that dense? After all this coaching, they still can't figure out how to fight on their own. Can't they survive without Yu Xiaogang? They just run to him every day. That's enough, Erlong. Flanders finally snapped and interrupted her. You're still injured. Go back to your room and rest. While his tone was gentler in the second sentence, it still carried an undeniable force. Flanders' spirit is an owl. With certain owl-like characteristics, his eyes sharpen and become intimidating when he's serious. Despite being close friends, Lu Erlong felt like Flanders would attack her if she didn't obey or said anything more. This made her both angry and sad. But she only dared to scold the younger students, not wanting to embarrass him by venting her anger on him in front of everyone. Flanders, you're not on my side. In the end, all she could do was say that and return to her room. Teacher Erlong has been in a bad mood lately because of Xiaojiang's disappearance, so that's why she's acting like that. Try to be understanding. Remember, they were separated for over 20 years before. As soon as Lu Erlong left, Flanders spoke up in her defense. He didn't want the students to resent her because of this. Really, all you need is to stay calm for tomorrow's match. I believe in you. No matter who you face, you can win. Flanders wasn't great at planning tactics. All he could do was calm them down and keep them from feeling pressured. Xiao San, you're Xiaogang's disciple, and you know all of this very well. I'm leaving the rest to you. Don't feel too much pressure, just do your best. The current situation wasn't great for Shrek Academy. If Lu Erlong hadn't just caused a scene, Flanders wouldn't have been so gentle. Normally, he would have said something like, "You guys are awesome. You'll definitely win the championship." But Flanders knew to tailor his words to the situation. He appeared calm, but after leaving the room, his face fell, filled with worry and anger. That jerk Yu Xiaogang always screws up at the worst times. When we need him, he vanishes without a trace. What a loser. He left without even saying goodbye. He's been gone for a month with no word. I don't even know where to find him. No wonder Erlong is pissed. That while Flanders was cursing Yu Xiaogang himself was anxious, but Lu Erlong took direct action.